is a silver 1 player. 237, 256. I placed a turret in front of the Junkrat, which was not the best idea. I tunnel visioned on their tank, which led my supports to be bullied by the enemy Sombra. I also don't think I was playing in the right position. All right, let's take a look. Okay. Not a terrible fight. You guys won. We're trying to look at what you can do better here. So you notice this bat, he gets actually to half health from your turret. Getting him here in the back is actually a great idea. If you come down here on this angle, you could try to burst down this bat, because this is high priority right now. If you can kill a healer who's out of position, it will almost guarantee you guys the fight. So what you decide to do is you throw the turret down here. You already mentioned in the notes that it was kind of a waste, and it totally is, because right now the enemy team needs to push into the uphill, right? One turret that can be good is up here, looking just right on that ledge. It'll make them have to look up like this. They'll have to look up and put their backs to your entire team. Or you put it way back here and they have to look backwards to be able to contest it. But this one probably isn't as good as putting it up here. So this would probably be the best turret position, and it would really help your team. Now you jumping down here is risky. The reason for that is your tank is over here, right? Contesting, I don't know. She has nano, and I think she's gonna come back. But you need to be aware of where your tank is at all times. If they're not in the front line, then you have to play extra safe. And when I mean extra safe, I mean you can play back here, start putting pressure on them, make them look behind them. This is an off angle. If you put a turret here, or you yourself could play here, where you're just doing chip damage here. And then they have to make a difficult decision. They have to say, oh, we have to go and fight the dwarf here that's shooting us in the back, doing a bunch of damage per shot, or we have to push into the enemy team. And a lot of times in this MMR and silver rank, they'll panic. They'll not know what to do. They'll either try to ignore you, or they'll make mistakes. This is a very good tactic that works pretty much all the way up to top 500, right, on all ranks. Creating these off angles to make it difficult for the enemy team to make good decisions. If you play over here, the one thing you gotta keep in mind is you don't have a healer to heal you. You're gonna have to play this cover, and you have to play extra safe. So you can just jiggle peek from right here, do good chip damage, and you don't even need to kill anyone. It will just distract them enough to look at two different things, and they'll get confused, and you'll probably end up winning the team fight because of it. The bat might come and start shooting at you instead of healing his teammates, then it opens up this Junkrat to be killed. But either way, you jump down, you make that decision. You see this Junkrat, which is definitely the priority right now because it's the easiest kill. Good choice. One thing with that all the tanks have in common is they have some sort of defensive ability to keep them alive. In Ramacha's case, it's his nemesis form and his block. One thing to note is when all these tanks are doing their defensive ability, they're gonna be super tanky and they're gonna soak up damage, and that's when basically they're the strongest. So putting, like you said in your comment, I think, eye tunnel vision on their tank, is absolutely correct. Because he's using his block, he can soak up so much damage. Definitely when the tank is using their defensive ability, go on someone else. Doesn't matter who, most likely the healers, especially since they are putting themselves in harm's way. They're very close to the fight here. They're in front of your tank. Your tank can go on them, you can go on them, and make it difficult for them to get something done. Sombra does come and catches out your support. And you have your turret back up, and this should be used to help with the Sombra. You can put it right behind you in this room, just to get sight lines on whoever's doing a tricky angle like that. You can put it down here just for some added safety, so that you can go back into this room and have cover from your turret, right? And let's move to the second key moment here. I ping the Zarya as soon as I see her, start running because she has a carry pocket. When they reach the choke, I place a turret to distract her so I can reposition further away. I see that we are winning, and my soldier's getting killed by Kiriko, so I kill her, and Zarya was alone after that, thanks to our diva being in their spawn room, distracting them. Okay. Alright, so this is actually a very, I thought you did very well here. One thing, let's see where your team's at. They're just all over the place. We're not worrying about your team here. Anyway, so you notice the Zarya's coming at you. You're doing a good job kiting. Realizing that this Zarya can only shoot so far. The most she can do right here is right click you. This is a good turret spot to kind of, ooh, look at those arms. Whoa! Ooh. Anyway, so this is a good turret, kind of just doing some chip damage. You got this Kiriko low. You should keep going backwards like you're doing. This is good. Good decision making here.
Time to let off some steam.
Your decision here to use overdrive is questionable. One thing that's pretty common in silver and gold is using your abilities at the wrong time, aiming is a little poor, and positioning, working with your team. Those are the three major things I'd say bronze all the way up to gold struggle with. So that's something that you need to keep track of when you're playing these games. When you're trying to play these games, you have to try to improve at these three things, and if you do, you will eventually climb. Using your overdrive the right times is very important for you. And here's why. It gives you 100 over health. That's no small feat. It does increase your damage output because it makes you shoot faster, and it makes you reload faster, and it makes you run faster, okay? But at this point, you're not gonna take on a 2v1. You have teammates coming from spawn, but you just need to keep kiting backwards. Let them push the bot, it's okay. They're not gonna get anything done. And what they could have done, if they really wanted to, is they both could have pounced on you right here and killed you pretty easily, because they have a Kiriko pocket, or she's gonna have a Kiriko pocket, and you're out of position. The only place you can really run is over here, and then you're kind of in this awkward spot where your Moira can't help you out, okay? So playing with your team is very important. The Moira will heal you. She wants to heal you, and our job as a torb, as a DPS, is make it as, well, one of our jobs could be to make it as easy as possible for them to heal us. Back to overdrive. So you use this ability, and it's not gonna serve you well, because you can't burst down this Kiriko, you can't burst down this Zarya, and you've kind of wasted your defensive ability. But they decide not to pounce on you, and you decide to put a turret like right in front of them, which probably isn't the best call. Putting it somewhere over here at max range where neither of them, or only the Kiriko can really hit it, will make it do more damage and provide more covering fire. Moira's in the ground. Anyway, so now your healer's here. This is still pretty tough to fight into because Zarya has so much HP. I would still back up, wait for your soldier to get there, and then you can go to 3v2. And then it would be a pretty even fight in terms of footing, because tanks are just that. They're good at absorbing damage, and they can do really well at taking space. When you don't have your tank, when your diva's over here, she's, distracting them like you said, but in the end, nothing's really getting done even though she's over here. This choice to be over here is not really a great one, because Point is over here and her team is over here, so she can't really get a lot done. So your Moira decides to go on them. So that basically means this is time to fight. Otherwise, your Moira is just gonna die. This is where you need to work with your team. You do get some good shots off, but this right here would be a great opportunity to use your overdrive. Since you use it over here, you didn't really get much value out of it, but now you can go in here with 100 extra health, with a Moira pocketing you, and extra damage, and get full benefit from that overdrive, and burst down this Kiriko. The Kiriko tries to 1v1 the soldier, which is very a bad decision, and therefore it made it easier to win that fight. But the Kiriko, let's just rewind this. Let's just examine this further. So if this Kiriko just stayed back, they definitely could have turned on the Moira, killed them together. Then it's a 2v2 situation, and it'll be difficult for you guys. All you have to do is play slow with bubbles, and they'll win this fight every time. But she does what some supports like to do, which is be too aggressive. Gets punished for it. I can tell this is a controller game. I'm not gonna really talk about aim too much. It was something that it's going to improve over time. I'd say if you're playing on controller, it's gonna be difficult to right-click people or like flick them when they're really close to you. So that's something that you just gotta be aware of. So you wanna set yourself up for success on controller. This turret's not really gonna do much. I don't think it has enough range to reach over here. It might just barely, but they can shoot it down just by jiggle peeking this pretty easily. You could put it somewhere over here on this side so that when they're pushing out with bot, they're gonna have to deal with this as well as your team, but not the worst spot. You could also swing over here, play long range, put the turret over here along with yourself and just poke them out this way. This creates a good off angle to open up the crossfire on the enemy team, right? They'll have to look at your team and they'll have to look at you. And it's okay if you don't have a healer here because you have a mega health pack right here that can get you back up to full, and you can keep harassing them from this spot. And you don't really need to even aim that well, right? You just jiggle peek right here and have a good lineup of pretty much the whole enemy team, and it's gonna be difficult for them to kill you. If you're worried about the Sombra, you put the turret right here, and she'll have to hack your turret or hack you and die to your turret, or she hacks your turret and you kill her. That'll make the best of that situation there. Let's just see how this fight goes. So I can tell you when you go into this fight, you don't really have a clear plan of who you want to shoot at. Most of the time, a good person to shoot at is whoever's out of position. Right here, this Zarya is way pushed up, be a good target, especially since your tank is on her as well. Zarya actually doesn't have a great defensive ability to ward off a lot of bursts, right? And if all four of you were to shoot the Zarya right now, even if she had both bubbles up, she would die. It's just gonna be too much burst damage there. So you guys decide to go on her, which was the right call. You're keeping your distance from the Reaper, which is good. Just keep in your mind, like, how can I better play this situation to be more safe? Their BAP is shooting you guys. That window is very dangerous. So you can jiggle peek this corner, right? Just looking at the next cover that you can stay behind. So you can jiggle peek a corner and make it harder for them to kill you. Keeping your distance from both BAP and Reaper is fine if you want to do that. Just go to this cover and jiggle peek. You gotta think in your head, what's the corner that I can jiggle peek from? What's the next piece of cover that I can hide? and do some damage with. You want to make it as difficult as possible for them to kill you. Now these are just little things. I mean, you guys won the fight. There's not really much to say there, but these are just little things that can help improve in general as torb, as DPS, right? If you make it as hard as possible for you to die, then you will live longer and therefore get more damage out and probably win more team fights. It's just that simple. Because if you were peeking from this corner, Jiggle peeking, that Sombra's ult would have missed you entirely. And now it's kind of a little scary because you're over here with a little bit of health. But you know where the Mega Pack is, which is good. You'll get healed up. This Kiriko's way out of position. You take advantage of that. That's awesome. Very good. Okay, let's dissect that, right? So what I'm gonna be looking at this fight, I'm gonna be looking at your ult usage. It's almost up. I'm gonna be looking at how you use your abilities. So you have a turret up. You see this Reaper coming down. You know he's coming, but you really want to put a turret down here. But you don't want to do that. It's gonna be a waste of time. He's gonna break it down in 2 shots. If Zarya shoots a right click, he'll break it down in 1 shot. Which is exactly what he does, and he misses, but it's still a waste of damage here. You want to think of it as something precious, something that you kind of want to save for a good position and not just waste it, because you could put it back here where you're trying to, I guess, position yourself. This isn't terrible. You're gonna have sightlines of your healers. You're keeping your distance from the Reaper. So if you have your turret back here, you could almost hide behind it if it's full HP and try to fight this Reaper that's trying to push into you while you have support from your team. Or you could also put it like right here and then push in this way, right? You're just kind of setting yourself up for success. If you don't know where to put your turret, don't put it in front of you, put it behind a wall where the team has to push into you and then they'll eventually get hit by the turret. And usually that's, you know, a difficult spot for people to kill you. Because say Reaper teleports behind you guys, he'll be hit by your turret and only him, and he'll have to deal with it, or he'll just die. So you're just creating these situations where you're setting yourself up for success. But let's look at how you use your ult this time. Okay. If it were me, once I saw 3 people here on the ground, that's when I would use the ult, which is exactly what you do. I would use it immediately and try to cut them off this way and just try to spread as much as I can there. I mean, that's a good line. That's not terrible. Actually, that was pretty good. You know what? I have no complaints there. I always like to be super patient with my globs and make sure I get them in the right spot, but it's gonna be difficult on controller. Good turret under the bridge. Alright. This is very difficult to destroy for the enemy team because they either have to fight you guys or fight the turret. They can't do both. It also is defending against the Sombra. Oh, there's the timer. I'll just finish what I'm saying here. You get hacked, your soldier pops visor, so you should be focusing this Sombra to help your soldier live and get one less enemy on the team. What you decide to do here, she ends up going away, they pop Kiriko, and you start healing your turret. This is absolutely the wrong move. In my opinion, you should never repair your turret. Never repair your turret. It's always a waste of time. Why do I say it's a waste of time? If you really need to put down another turret to get it back to full HP, just wait till this one dies. You can put up a new one. If it isn't targeting anyone, you can actually put another turret down with full HP for free. You don't have to repair it at all. Your rivet gun, your left click, will do 70 damage per shot, okay? Your turret's doing 56 per second. Your gun can do 70 per shot. You're choosing to repair a turret that can kill someone in 4 seconds. That's a long time. But if you were to shoot along with your turret, you're combining those DPS amounts, right? You're doing a 70 damage per shot plus your turret damage, and you'll probably kill someone for it. And they either have to shoot at you or they have to shoot at your turret. But now you're making the choice very easy for them. They're just shooting at your turret or shooting at you. In fact, they could actually do some splash damage on you with the Junkrat and kill both of you at the same time. It's never worth it to repair your turret. Never worth it. If you liked what you saw, please join my Discord. I'm going to be reviewing replays like this every Saturday, and you can post it in the replay section, and all the rules are there. This is also for every rank, so don't worry if you think you're too low of a rank. We're all here to improve, and we all make mistakes, so even if you're not doing well, even though it may seem like I'm critiquing pretty harshly, saying all these things that they're doing wrong or someone is doing wrong, just keep in mind that it's all in the sake of trying to improve with the game and taking the criticism just as to figure out what's going wrong in the game, right? Just getting a new perspective, because it's easy to point out your own flaws and say, I did this wrong, I know I did this wrong. But sometimes if you get a second opinion, a new perspective, it can help you improve your game drastically. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.